single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
Hi everyone, this is your girl Rosita Cooper, and my special guest for today on Living Your Dreams with Rosita is Mindy Dougherty. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I am so awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much. This has been a great opportunity.
Well, thank you. And y'all, this lady right here is a producer, actress, model, author. So tell us about yourself, lady. You got a lot of things going on.
Yes. So my name is Mindy Dougherty, and I am the creator and owner of Feed My City. And I've also just published a book about 90 days ago called A Resilient Warrior. And I've done a movie called Bridge of the Doomed and a couple others that we're going to be working on in 2022. It's been a great process. First and foremost, I feel blessed by being able to kind of do a lot of neurofeedback and therapy and stem cell therapy to kind of help me get regulated. I have a harsh history of abuse and overcoming that and a bunch of medical adversities. I've been in 3 comas. I've had 3 stem cell transplants and 4 organs taken out. So I'm diabetic. So it's been quite the journey to get here. But if I didn't have any of those experiences, then I wouldn't be here.
And
so
you
no matter what happens, what's that?
You wouldn't be who you are today.
Right. And so I could never really regret anything or any of the decisions that I've made in the past, because had I not made those decisions, I really wouldn't have gotten to where I'm at now. And I think that when I created Feed My City, I honestly thought I was dying. So it was more or less like I'd put a bunch of plants and trees in my backyard and was going to leave a legacy behind to have other people grow and have apple trees, pear trees, cherry trees, and blueberries and stuff like that in my backyard, so that it could basically inspire others to do the same. So then I started buying trees for a friend and going from there, because a friend of mine owns a nursery. So I was like, all right, what can I do for my city? And then I reached out to other countries. And so we've got Feed My City growing. And that's more of like feeding myself and feeding others, feeding myself knowledge, but feeding other people both knowledge, and then also helping them understand. If you want to teach your children how to grow, you can have like a 2-plant system to where basically they learn that they're going to give this plant away to either somebody that they know or somebody that they don't know, so that they can learn detachment, and that they can also learn how to give and share without any expectation of return. And I think that's where sometimes the giving portion lacks. Like we can all remind ourselves to give. Why are we giving? And so I want to teach kids and people and even inmates eventually, because I would love to get Feed My City into jail systems to basically teach inmates how to grow and get out of their box, literally out of their box and their cell. And we all have had different traumas. And I understand. My book, A Resilient Warrior, is available at www.feedmycity.net and also on Amazon.com. I'm also available in Deschutes County Library for those who are in Oregon and can't afford to buy it. So that's available as well.
I think that is an awesome idea about the jail system and stuff, to have the plants, because they said like growing plants is very therapeutic.
I'll be very honest with you. At first, I thought it was all woo-woo, and I was like, "What is this? What is this process that I'm even working on?" And then I realized no matter what, it filled my soul. Like I started talking to my plants, I started talking to my trees, and I started recognizing the growth that they had. And then I also noticed the different plants that didn't want to thrive. So I had to take those out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And what I think, or what I hope to deliver
Mm-hmm.
is next year, because of COVID, this year we kind of got put on pause. So next year, what I would like to do is basically intertwine basically where the inmates learn how to grow either plants or trees, and they have to take care of it. And basically, it's the same concept. We're growing from the inside out and figuring out what our demons truly are, because we all have them. You know, there's skeletons in the closet, you know,
Yeah.
no matter what facade or masks or roles we play, you know. Sometimes I think we play roles that emulate what we're really not, or emulate what we're close to getting dangerously close to, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I figure is if I can teach people that, yes, we all have these emotions and we're all going through some crazy times right now. I mean, it is left and right. Some people don't know if they're living and dying. Some people don't know where their finances are. And that's understandable. So in the knowns and in the unknowns and unexpectation or unexpectability, it's almost like riding the waves in the ocean and figuring out where it is we're really going to go, where we're headed, and where are we at now.
Exactly.
If we have a basis of where we're at now, then we can proceed to see where are we going to go and how are we going to move forward.
Exactly. So tell us about Bridge of Doom.
Bridge of the Doomed was filmed last October, and that was really, really fun. It's a military zombie movie, and we're guarding the bridge, and who knows who will survive and who will not survive. And this was a really fun project to work on, both as a producer and as an actress, and more or less the team that is built around us. I mean, basically, when we do these projects, I like to say we, because so much work has been put into this, that the finance portion of it and the filming portions of it and the actors, you know, all of the things that have gone into it. I think this is going to be a great film to watch.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, you said about the abuse. Tell us about your abuse. How did it affect you, and everything? So explain to that. How did that come about?
Sure. So unfortunately, I have overcome incest, sexual abuse, and as well as childhood physical abuse. I was beaten sometimes to the point to where I couldn't use my legs because my brother was so jealous and so abusive that he would knock me down and tell me if I couldn't fight like a man, or if I couldn't work like a man or fight like a man, he was going to teach me how to fight like a man. And then on the flip side, unfortunately, he wanted me sexually. So when I didn't want to give in sexually, he would give in. You know, I'm learning about narcissistic behavior, and unfortunately, there are family dynamics that I've had to overcome that many couldn't fathom. And when a mother doesn't quite know what to do with it, the knowledge that she has because of the guilt that she has, it becomes hard, because then the child takes on all of the responsibility that the parent was supposed to have, and thereby leaving me as an adult working on figuring things out. As far as sexually, I haven't had, you know, sex in over 7 years because I was traumatized, unfortunately, at the VA hospital. And I was assaulted and starved and mistreated for 4 straight months at San Antonio, Texas VA in 2014, which I write about in Resilient Warrior. And I feel like that kind of put the cherry right on top of my little cake. Like I was doing good, had therapy, was working through issues, and became a nurse. I'm as an interventional radiology nurse. and was at the top of my career after I had just studied for 8 years, becoming research, doing multiple research projects, and then becoming a published medical researcher. I think after I'd been assaulted and abused the way that I had by the medical system, and then not being able to get justice because the nurses and people behind the scenes changed my medical records, unfortunately, there was just so much stuff that I'd been fighting for that I kind of just lost hope in all humanity, to be honest with you. And it's taken me about 5 or 6 years to really genuinely come back to wanting to be present in life again. And it's taken me about the last 4 or 5 straight months since I've been doing neurofeedback to really genuinely want to even live in society and be with society and understand what this world's all about. But really, when I had tuned in about 3 years ago, when I didn't die, it was more or less like there is something in this universe that is keeping me here. So whether I believe that I have a purpose or something else is keeping me as this purpose, I might as well do good. So that's why Feed My City was more or less created, because even though I don't call myself a victim. I say I'm a survivor of many, many things. And I don't want people to feel sorry for me either, because that's one of those things where it's like people will be like, well, dang, I can't tell my story. Like, who am I it's not about that. It's seeing that I've overcome all these struggles and I'm still giving to society. I'm still giving of myself and my time. And I still believe that even if you're an inmate, there's a lot of laws that we need to change, like these marijuana laws and stuff like that. People going to jail for stuff that is legal in my state that's not legal in your state, yet we're calling ourselves the United States. It just doesn't make sense to me to have rules that are so outlandish for one state and then have it be so differentiated in my state. I think that if we're all equal in that partition, as far as medication goes, stem cells should be legal too.
And I see, for the things that you're doing to Feed My City, where you are helping people, and at the same time, your title of your book and the movies and stuff, it's like two different sides of you. So do you exactly? Do you feel as though the things that happen to you in your life is like, okay, I'm this good person, and this is me, but I ain't gonna say you angry, but I know when things happen in our life, because I was sexually abused as a child, it's like this, you have this side, but then this anger is still right here. So it's like, that's your outlet. Your writing and stuff is your outlet to be this other character that, hey, is it like that? Because it's like I said, it's two different sides that I'm saying, that
I think that there's multiple sides of us all, right?
Yeah.
And when we realize where we're at with those multiple sides, we can play with those sides.
Exactly.
I ran away from drama, theater, modeling, anything and everything I possibly could. And it's calling me right back. It's like my mom forced me into this, and I ran away from it to go into the military. And then I attempted to do modeling when I was in the military, but was told that I would get kicked out and dishonorably if I did certain things for the military. So it was more or less, you have certain rules that you get to follow. And this was back in a time in 1995 to 1999. Yeah. So different rules, different standards as we have now. People are like, oh, well, I could have done it, not during that period of time. So I think all these things that have gone on in my life, it'll be interesting to see what roles I can play and distinguish. I more or less, I really like drama and comedy. I love making people laugh. I like doing improv. Yeah. I'm actually going to be doing a photo shoot this weekend, and then in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, basically doing another photo shoot and possibly some scenes that are going to kind of display total different parts that I haven't really done before.
Nice.
And I'm exploring parts of my own mind where I'm the writer, so it's more or less like, well, if this flumps, then it's all on me. So yeah, it's kind of like the Saturday Night Live show, if you wrote it, you better hope somebody's laughing on the other end, or you're just sitting there going, we got a circus race going here and nobody's listening.
No, I believe you're going to be all right. Well, okay, let me ask you this right here. I understand that you said that your brother basically would like push you down or whatever and say.
My brother was very violent, unfortunately.
Like a man. Do you feel as though that's the reason, that's like a lot of the reason why you end up in the military?
I ended up in the military. My brother actually got sent away when I was 12. I was gang raped by his friends, and that's when that's when that's when the family dynamics shifted after that happened as well. So I was more or less like pawned off to some people, and my best friend was forced to watch in a van. So I think that at 12, I was kind of scarred. And then my stepdad, unfortunately, came into the mix to kind of save us, but it was too late. Unfortunately, the damage had been done. And I say the damage had been done because I feel like I'm not damaged goods per se. I do have a lot of damage that has been done. And I've been working on my trauma now for since 1999 is when I really chose to like figure out things, but really, really took on therapy 6 years ago when I moved to Oregon. And I was first in a wheelchair. I was bedbound. I didn't get access to help. People thought I was crazy. I had to prove who I was. It was it's been a very interesting dynamics. Now the friends that have known me for 3 years, because I came out about 3 or 4 years ago, I went into isolation completely, and then would only go to like appointments and come out very, very, very slim. So when COVID hit, this wasn't the abnorm for me. I'd been doing this now for 6 years. However, I had chosen to come back out, 2.5, 3 years ago so that I could start getting therapy. And when I really started working on it was 4 years ago, and I had done EMDR, neurofeedback, different weekend seminars that I could attend to. I also became a Watsu practitioner, which means I can do massage in the water basically with people that have ailments and stuff like that. So I wasn't able to walk, and that's how I started to walk was in water. I was unable to move my foot. I had something called left foot drop, which meant my foot was kind of just facing down and it wasn't facing 90 degrees. So it took me about 3 years to actually get my foot up. And then they basically were telling me, you're not going to walk. We got to figure this out. They were going to put little ramps and stuff up to my house where I was at and make adjustments and stuff. So
you just a testimony all the way around.
I feel like my movies, if, whatever happens in the future, even the writing, whatever happens is whatever happens. I have no idea what's next. I really don't. I'm kind of open to the universe and really hope that sponsors and investors want to come in and work with me and understand, like, I've done so much work to get to this point.
Yeah.
That I hope that they see the real value behind it instead of just saying, I won't lie, I'm not perfect. I do pop off because I'm very intense at times. But that's just also part of I have something called TBI, which is traumatic brain injury, and all the PTSD, that sometimes when friends decided that they wanted to get up too close to my back and not tell me, or somebody that doesn't know me would come up to me and hit me, it would, jar my system. Whereas now I got, bumped and hit the other day, and it didn't affect me as not even like I was like, hey, dude, care. Like that disappear somewhere, dude. Hey. As I'm looking up at like 6 foot tall, I'm like, I know that you saw me.
But you know what? It's probably because you're getting out more.
Right.
You're getting out more and you're doing more things and stuff. So it's like you're not all shook up and timid and stuff. It's like, hey, I'm here.
Right. It's been a whole different world. It's been very different from having to elevate my foot all day too. My leg used to swell. Like I have pictures of where it used to be like about this big and it would turn purple and red. So there's really no getting outside. You know, like more or less like, I gotta go home and elevate my foot because it's about to blow up.
Wow.
So I mean, it's just I see pictures and I forget. I'm like, have I been lazy? And I'm like, oh no, I haven't been lazy. I forgot. I couldn't walk. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, it's so amazing how you done turned everything around. Everything. And then, you know, what they say, everything in your life happened for a reason. And like you said, if it had not happened, you wouldn't be who you are today. And you're, you know, feed my city. You know, that right there that you made, I'm pretty sure that it's helping a lot of people, as well as your books and stuff. And the cover of your movie, it looks awesome. I want to say that I seen it on Instagram.
I'm so excited. And they picked up 2 more scenes. So we're hoping productions and everything will be out next year, about March, April timeframe. But we just picked up another couple scenes this last weekend with Robert Lusardo in the group. I wasn't there. I was, you know, in Oregon, but I'm excited for this to come out. I'm beyond thrilled for our team. Our team has really, really worked really hard for this. So look out for this one. It's definitely going to be a great one.
So, and what other, have you worked on any other like Hollywood productions and stuff? And, you know.
So I will be in the future. In the past, when I was younger, I did some extra stuff. Like I said, I ran far away from it, and then I started doing other things. Like I did some extra work and then worked background, and then I have one scene that I'm in a movie called One Dead Dog. We're waiting for that to go into the film festivals. And then I did something called Masked Monologues, where we got in through COVID. That's also in film festivals as well. So the stuff that I've done won't be able to get released yet. So I'm not sure if that will get released. However, this weekend I'm hoping to get some new photos done for the modeling portion of it. And then in a couple weeks, we might be able to film some scenes if the rain doesn't hit, because it's really rainy in Portland. So we're hoping to film some really cool scenes to show different diverse backgrounds and a couple different scenes. A friend of mine's flying in with, you know, a camera, and so we'll see. You know, it'll be fun. You know, we'll see.
Okay. So tell them about your book. Tell them a little bit of what's going on in the book.
My book has definitely created justice and a sense of peace within me. I've found more serenity in writing my book. I think at one point I felt like I had to fight for myself in the world, not realizing that just by fighting my own fight has literally inspired hundreds of people at this point, with Mindy's Fight, which is my first ebook, and then this second book, which is basically a combination from the back. This is a different version of a compilation of journals and things that I've written about, but also overcoming and teaching people how you can become a resilient warrior on your own as well. It's not just about me. It's more or less like the first chapters of my childhood. They are harsh, and I understand a lot of people get triggered by these kinds of things. It's not an easy topic to talk about.
Yeah.
However, once you get a different perspective, you can also see like, oh, okay, I'm living, I'm thriving, and all these things that I've gone through. No one individual should never have gone through what I have gone through in my lifetime, in multiple lifetimes, and I understand that. However, also on some level, I feel like I must have chosen it because that's maybe what we do. With the universe is only giving us what we need to aspire to grow. And maybe it was what's been needing, the absolute thing that needed to happen for me to grow. Otherwise, I would have been a workaholic. I would have continued to not listen to my body. I would have been, shut down and more stressed out. Whereas now I've found a different peace in my life where certain things just don't matter. I don't want to fight about certain things, and I won't argue with people about politics or religion because everybody has their own issue and their
I
own
tell people all the time, I don't talk about politics and religion on my show.
because it just don't work. It just don't work. Because everybody has their perception, and I'm not here to change anybody's perception about it either, I'm a firm believer on if you want to believe whatever your beliefs are.
Exactly.
That's fine. Just don't try to convert me.
And see, like you said, basically accept certain things and stuff. And my phrase I always use, it is what it is.
Right.
You don't need to get upset about stuff. Ain't no need to argue with nobody. Okay. Right. It is what it is.
And people will try to bait you too each time. Oh, what you doing? I don't know. Waiting until January. What you doing? Because I figure at some point, whatever clown gets, picked in January, it's a whole new year. Yeah. So we all have to evolve to that anyway. In January it's going to be 2021 and we're going to be moving on.
Exactly.
A forced change.
Okay, so on Living Your Dreams with Rosita, there's a testimonial part. And the testimonial part is to tell people what they went through that almost made them give up on what they're doing. And you can go all the way back. It doesn't have to just be on your career. And how did you get past it?
So I would say my medical adversities, to be honest with you, throughout my whole life, abuse is obviously that too. However, my medical adversities, because I had pancreatitis for 8 years and wasn't believed at the VA system. So with a medical system that doesn't believe you, when you have ailments like that, pancreatitis, you can die from. And so it was a harsh reality to have to overcome that. And then I wasn't really reading. I wasn't able to read. I was kind of not illiterate. I could read the words. I just couldn't understand it. So I spent over $37,000 to learn how to read so that I could go to nursing school. And so all these years that I've spent with the adversities that I've had being pancreatitis, I still worked through pancreatitis. I'd get sick, go to the bathroom, figure it out, go back to my patients, and go back to work. It was kind of just like that's the way it was. And then I had finally my organ taken out. I had my appendix and my gallbladder taken out in 96 and 97. And then I had portions of my pancreas taken out in 2002, another portion of my pancreas taken out in 2004, over 100 stents to try to make things work, and over 375 procedures to try to make things work. It just didn't work. And like I said, the comas that I was in, I almost wonder on one of them, like I was telling a friend of mine, we had just had this discussion and he wanted to know, like, well, did you see the light? And I said, no, I didn't see no light. But what I did see was an American Indian tribe waiting for me. And they were doing a dance. And it was around a fire. And it was a tribal moment. And there was a chief waiting for me. And I don't know as far as like what that means, in my future.
Well, they said that, now I don't personally know, but for us, like when we was growing up, you know how we see the Indian thing and we hear about the histories of the Africans and the Indians and stuff like that. But when I know that when they dance around the fire and stuff, it's kind of like a healing ceremony.
Nice. Yeah, you know, I was in a coma, and like I said, when I came back from whatever that experience was, all I know is it's the most peaceful I've ever been in my life. I've always strived to get back to that peaceful place, but was never really able to. Except for one other time when I was with a shaman in Colorado, when I lived in Colorado, and I worked with her, and we worked together, and I felt not. She worked on me for 4 hours, and that way we went really, really deep. And so I don't know what Native Americans portion play a role in my lifetime. However, there was that moment, and then the other 2 comas when it was more or less like I could hear the EKGs and the machines, you know, beeping, and, you know, we're losing her. The you know, all those other things, but it didn't correlate as much as it did my very first coma, which when I went into a deeper set in mind, and then all of a sudden when I came back, or, you know, however they say, I felt I couldn't talk for a while. It was more or less like everything had been kind of just, you know, you're in this enlightened space basically. And from my understanding, it was 3 days in the ICU and then 3 weeks recovering. So it had been a long time. Time had passed by, you know. My first hospitalization, I think I want to say, was like 4 or 5 months. So I've been open from rib to rib 3 times. So my diaphragm is layered, and I have scar tissue that took over 8 hours just to take out some of my intestines, and I have no duodenum. No pancreas, no gallbladder, no appendix. So when I used to ride, before I got what happened in 2014, I was riding with the American Diabetes Association, and I love comedy. So my friends were calling me Half Pint because I had half a gut. So, you know, you end up using comedy to kind of like push through the traversities of what's happening in life. And like I said, I don't know what the next thing is going to be. I'm opening up to the universe and saying, if you got a book for me, help me create my, you know, my mind frame to get to there. And if the right role is for me, or if people want to work with me, then set that up so that it's the most benevolent for us all and we win as a team.
Nice. Okay, so tell people where they can find your stuff once again.
Sure. So I am at Amazon.com for A Resilient Warrior, which is my new book that's been out. It's my autobiography. And then also the e-reader is available on Amazon, or you can go and get an autographed copy, which means that I actually personalize and I personally send it to whoever buys it. It's $20, and it's an autographed copy, and you can find that and more about me and my links and my social media and my IMDb page, and a little video about me that helps people understand what Feed My City is about and everything else at www.feedmycity.net.
Nice. Okay, so tell them some inspiring words that you feel as though that they can grow from, and they can teach their kids, and their kids can teach their kids. You know,
I believe that courage, tenacity, resilience, and a belief system is where we need to start at the core. Because if they truly believe in themselves, if we're talking about children aspire to be what they're around. So whatever they're around, their environment is going to be mostly important. So if you can encourage them to use their mind and not just placate on what you want them to do, but what is it they want to do? Because a lot of parents right now, for some reason, get that confusion line and, oh, you got to live to be my dream, when they don't even like basketball, or they don't even like baseball.
Exactly.
Do it, and their kids are like, I hate this, but I'm doing it for my mom. Did you see me now?
And it makes them angry throughout life. They start doing other stuff.
Right, and that's why they run away from it, you know. And when I was forced to do stuff, modeling, put a dress on and do all those other, I hated it.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm shifting into, I'll be 44 in December. I just want to do something different, you know.
Right.
And all the things that I ran away from as a child, now I'm like, maybe I'll look into it, and it helped me. All the classes and all the stuff that I had to do when I was younger, it'll make sense now. You know?
Yeah.
So that's what I would say for even adults as well, is like all the things that we've had in our lives. Just take those experiences and say, where am I at now, so that I can really aspire to where I want to be in the next 90 days, 180 days, 2 years, 10 years, and 20 years from now. And then just write about it. You know, I know not everybody's a writer, but sometimes getting it out there on paper, you can throw it out if you want to right after. But I think that getting it out there and having different groups to discuss things with can only aspire for greatness. And when people come together in one mind frame, things can go amazing.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate you being here. And I know your testimony will definitely inspire a lot of people, because you are a living testimony. I really
Thank you so very
appreciate you being
much for
here.
this opportunity and this time. I really, really appreciate you giving me this space and this time and this platform to be able to use my voice and to help people understand that Feed My City is not just food. It's knowledge. It's learning about ourselves so that we can grow as a community.
All right. Well, y'all have been watching Living Your Dreams with Rosita. And make sure that no one and nothing stopped you from following your dreams. Peace and love, and peace and blessings. Peace.
Thank you.